Hi, I'm Beebo Russell, and I'm a ground service agent. That means I lift a lot of bags. Like a lot of bags. So many bags. Look at all them bags. Ooh, a purple one.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to land it. I wasn't really planning on landing it.
Knows how to fly one of those aircraft, but we'll see what we can do and get you in contact with somebody.
Alrighty, yeah, I just kind of want to do a couple maneuvers, see what it can do before I put her down, you know?
What is up, Beebo crew? Today, we are covering the hijacking of a Horizon Air Q400 and the tragic ending it entailed. Renowned across the United States as the Emerald City, Seattle is a paradise like no other. A bustling metropolis nestled amid lush evergreen forests, boasting of a thriving culinary scene and the iconic Space Needle. But in 2018, Seattle became known for an entirely new and more sinister reason. As the day turned into dusk on August 10th, 2018, nothing seemed amiss. It was a bright, slightly chilly Friday evening, and residents across the city were ready to head out for a night full of parties and entertainment. However, at exactly 7:32 p.m., all hell broke loose as rumors of a plane taking off without authorization slowly started to spread. Before long, the evening news was filled with nothing but the story.
We have been following a developing story. Breaking news tonight. An employee, a mechanic, has stolen a plane out of SeaTac Airport.
Oh, yeah, that ground stop, Amanda, definitely creating some chaos here tonight.
I'm sorry to share with you this evening that at approximately 8 p.m., one of our Q400 airplanes made an unauthorized takeoff from SeaTac Airport.
Reporters chattered about how a Horizon Air Bombardier-8 Q400, a small plane capable of carrying approximately 90 passengers, had been stolen from the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, suddenly taking off with neither warning nor permission from air traffic control.
45, set approach, welcome, final runway 16 right.
Welcome. Man, I'm a ground service agent. I don't know what that is. Get it up and get it to go. A couple hours, I guess. But, yeah, I wouldn't know how to land it. I wasn't really planning on landing it.
Knows how to fly one of those aircraft, but we'll see what we can do and get you in contact with somebody.
Alrighty, yeah, I just kind of want to do a couple maneuvers, see what it can do before I put her down, you know? A little bit.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Sorry, my mic came off. I threw up a little bit. You know, hold on. Shoot. Man, I'm sorry about this. I hope this doesn't ruin your day.
Just flying the plane around, you seem comfortable with that?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a blast, man. I played video games before, so I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Okay, and you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
Nah, everything's peachy clean. Just did a little circle around Rainier. It's beautiful. I think I got some gas to go check out the Olympics. And, yeah.
The aircraft had slowly maneuvered its way to runway 16C, all the while ignoring frantic demands from personnel to identify itself. The crew of an Alaska Airlines jet standing nearby sent word to the SeaTac Air Traffic Control Tower that the plane had begun a takeoff roll, its nose slowly rising into the air as its wheels spewed smoke. And then it took off. Response on the ground was swift. By 8:15 p.m., the Oregon Air National Guard had already launched 2 McDonnell Douglas F-15C Eagles from the nearby Portland Air National Guard base in a bid to intercept the truant plane. Both aircraft went from 0 to supersonic speed, generating sonic booms as they headed towards the Puget Sound area. To support them, a KC-135R Stratotanker refueling tanker was quickly launched from the Fairchild Air Force Base as flights in and out of Seattle ground to a halt, temporarily suspended as a precautionary measure against the threat. All the while, air traffic control did their best to persuade the unsanctioned pilot to land the plane.
To the jets?
No, I'm not taking you to any jets. I'm actually keeping you away from aircraft that are trying to land at SeaTac.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't want to screw with that. I'm glad you're not, screwing up everyone else's day. On account of me.
Since their communication was via an open frequency, their messages were posted online and circulated on social media platforms by thousands of netizens who watched with bated breath as the terrifying events unfolded before them. The pilot claimed that he was a broken guy with a few screws loose, who never really knew it until now.
Minimum wage. We'll chalk it up to that. Maybe that'll grease the gears a little bit with the higher ups. Maybe, Good day. I think I lost you behind some hills a little bit. I'm coming back, though. Damn it, Andrew! People's lives are at stake here.
Now, Rich, don't say stuff like that.
Nah, I didn't told you. I don't want to hear no one. I just want you to whisper sweet nothings into my ear.
When personnel gently suggested that he land the plane at Joint Base Lewis McChord, he staunchly refused.
Oh man, those guys would rough me up if I tried landing there. I think I might mess something up there too. I wouldn't want to do that. Hopefully, they probably got anti-aircraft.
No, they don't have any of that stuff. We're just trying to find a place for you to land safely.
Yeah, not quite ready to bring it down just yet, but holy smokes, I gotta stop looking at the fuel because it's going down quick.
Okay, Rich, if you could you start a left-hand turn, and we'll take you down to the southeast, please.
This is probably like jail time for life, huh? I would hope it is for a guy like me.
The strange conversation with air traffic control continued. The man asked if landing the plane successfully would get him a job as a pilot with Alaska Airlines, and mused that he wanted to do a couple of maneuvers to see what the aircraft could do.
Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. Nah, I'm a white guy.
Even more unusual was his request that Tahlequah's coordinates be publicized, claiming that he wanted to go see that guy.
Hey, I want the coordinates of that orca with the mama orca with the baby. I want to go see that guy.
Tahlequah was a killer whale who had made her home in the waters of the northeastern Pacific Ocean, attracting international attention in 2018 after she carried the remains of her calf for over 17 days. This had become an event that many claimed to be one of the few instances where an animal made a blatant show of grief, loss, and mourning. About an hour into the flight, the aircraft started executing a series of aerobatic maneuvers over Puget Sound, footage of which soon appeared on social media. In a later interview, a professional pilot claimed that these maneuvers had been done well, without stalling or pulling the wings off. As these incredible movements came to an end, air traffic control once again asked the pilot to land the plane and turn himself in.
All right. Nah, damn it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to. I was kind of hoping that was going to be it, you know?
He followed this with several heartfelt apologies to his family, friends, and the rest of his loved ones. Statements that seemed more like goodbyes rather than expressions of remorse. This was the moment when the personnel at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport realized that the man never intended to land the plane. The two F-15s that had been deployed early on did their best to direct the stolen aircraft towards the Pacific Ocean. However, their efforts were for naught.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy, got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it until now.
At 8:43 p.m., over an hour after the unauthorized takeoff, the Horizon Air Bombardier-8 Q400 crashed on Ketron Island in Puget Sound, situated in Pierce County, Washington.
Just kind of lightheaded, dizzy. Man, and you know, the sights went by so fast, too. I was thinking, like, I'm going to have this moment of serenity, you know, I'll be able to take in all the sights. There's a lot of pretty stuff, but I think they're prettier in a different context.
Okay, thank you. And do you have an idea of how much fuel you have left?
Man, not enough. Not enough to get by. Like 760 pounds.
Papa, contact ground, Sky West 4581.
I wouldn't mind just shooting the with you guys, but it's all business, you know?
But it's going to be a little while.
913.
Hunter Flight 141, turn left, heading 190, follow the Dash 8, cleared visual approach 191.
I feel like I need to be, what do you think, like 5,000 feet at least to be able to pull this barrel roll off?
Stay on the ground.
Alright. Nah, damn it, I don't know, man, I don't know! I don't want to. I was kind of hoping that was going to be it, you know?
Thank you.
After long, I feel like one of my engines is going out or something.
Okay, Rich, if you could, you just want to keep that plane right over the water, maybe keep the aircraft nice and low.
Pierce County Sheriff's Department says that it was a mechanic from an unknown airline that took off with that plane. Now, this is a look at the crash scene on that island from our CBS affiliate in Seattle. It appears that the plane caught fire after it hit the ground surrounded by trees.
The entire aircraft was destroyed, fatally injuring the pilot, and along with it, any hope of discovering why he decided to pull such a stunt.
So zipline number 2, this one's a little bit more precarious. As you can see, I'll be pretty much landing right into a wall.
A few hours after the crash, a towboat crew arrived at the scene, accompanied by firefighters and rescuers from the surrounding towns. Luckily, the 2-acre fire that the aircraft's smoldering remains had caused was suppressed by dry bush, and the lack of wind fully extinguished it by the following morning. Even more fortunate was the fact that no injuries were reported, despite the aircraft crashing close to a cabin that had been occupied at the time. Investigations were led by the Seattle chapter of the FBI, who soon identified the truant pilot as 29-year-old Richard Russell, a ground handler for Horizon Air. Horizon Air was the commuter arm of the much bigger Alaska Airlines, and its ground handlers were responsible for managing, loading, and handling airplanes as they sat at their assigned gates. Those working in this role aren't trained to fly, so Russell's skills and expertise were a point of interest for the investigators. However, one thing was for sure. Russell's actions had been an attempt to take his own life, and not a terrorist incident. On August 12th, the FBI relayed to the public that the flight data recorder, as well as the components of the cockpit voice recorder, had been recovered from the crash site, which they hoped would allow them to gain insight into how Russell had managed to pull off a theft of this magnitude. The nearly destroyed equipment was sent to the National Transportation Safety Board to be repaired and processed, a procedure that would take at least several months. On November 9th, the investigation finally came to a close. It was determined that Russell's final descent and subsequent crash at Ketron Island was a successful attempt to take his own life. Besides the recordings of his last moments, extensive interviews with family, friends, and work colleagues, as well as the slew of text messages that Russell sent as the incident unfolded, were used to rule out the possibility of a more extensive criminal network. Despite this mountain of evidence, though, we will never fully know why Russell did what he did on the night of August 10th, 2018.
And at first, I thought, Beebo, well, I know that name, Beebo, but no, that couldn't be him. And then I saw his picture again, and it was like, oh my, it was him. But I thought, he was never crazy.
Not much may be known about Richard Russell's reasons for stealing and crashing the plane. However, a ton of information about his background has since been released to the public. Russell was born in Key West, Florida, moving to Wasilla, Alaska when he turned 7. There, he became an avid wrestler and competed in track and field. By the time he graduated in 2008, he had a whole host of accolades under his belt, including placing 4th at the Alaska State Wrestling Tournament, 5th in the discus at the State Track and Field Championships, and ran for 6 touchdowns as a fullback for the football team. He was absolutely the kind of kid you want on your team, said Gary Howell, the track and field coach for Wasilla High School, in an interview with the Daily News. He was a good kid who worked hard, said Sean Hayes during the same interview. He had been Russell's wrestling coach. He was always respectful, no signs of what happened, that's for sure. Affectionately known as Beebo to his family and close friends, he met his wife, Hannah Strassner, in 2011 at a Campus Crusade for Christ meeting at Southwestern Oregon Community College, marrying her a year later. The young couple settled in Sumner, Washington in 2015. Russell planned to either apply for a management position at Horizon Air or become a military officer after graduating with a degree in social science at the Washington State University Global Campus. To add to that, Russell was known and well-liked in his church community. He was an active leader in the local Christian youth ministry, Young Life, and was quiet, unassuming, and kind, appreciated by both his neighbors and his colleagues at work. However, signs of Russell's discontent with Horizon Air were very apparent. He complained about their wages during the flight, saying that he wanted the airline's higher-ups to increase their pay. Even though the turn of events was shocking and tragic, the public was mostly amazed and impressed by Russell's flying skills, since his work responsibilities never put him anywhere near a plane's cockpit. Shortly after the crash, internet forums were ablaze with tributes to the Skyking, a moniker given to Russell to commemorate his prowess at handling the aircraft. The day after the crash, Russell's family also released a statement to the media, saying that they were stunned and heartbroken by the incident and were devastated by the events. Alaska Airlines took charge of the cleanup and recovery efforts, with representatives and the company's insurers present on the island in the days following the incident. As of 2019, however, efforts are reportedly ongoing, with various pieces from the wreckage still being found all over the island. Horizon Air Q400 and Richard Russell have both gone down in the annals of history as an elusive and bewildering mystery. It shocked the nation as well as the entire world. But why it really happened and how it ended the way it did is a secret that Russell took to his grave.
Hi, I'm Beebo Russell and I'm a ground service agent. That means I lift a lot of bags. Like a lot of bags. So many bags. Look at all them bags. Ooh, a purple one.